Fedcap Group. We're the parent organization of Civic Hall, and I'm also the managing director here. We're thrilled to host this important conference with Runway of Dreams, one of our new organizations to the Fedcap family. Welcome indeed, everyone. Today is about challenging assumptions and driving innovation in adaptive clothing. You're going to see a bunch of QR codes pop up on the screens today for more information about Runway of Dreams plus Civic Hall. Anyone who's come in today and participated in the conference gets a free complimentary membership to Civic Hall. So download the QR code, check us out, come visit us. We're pretty fun. We're lots of fun. We have a busy day, so I want to jump right in. First, I want to recognize the board of directors of Runway of Dreams. If you're a board director, please raise your hand. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. We're also being joined throughout the day by folks from the city government, policymakers, and others, so as they come in, we'll recognize them as well. Today, I'd like to introduce our featured speaker, Heather Mills. She's a pioneering entrepreneur, disability rights advocate, and she's a world record-holding athlete. I am not a world record-holding athlete. Heather is a model for us all. She's passionate, and she's a fearless innovator. With no further ado, please welcome Heather Mills.
I'll pop up here so I can see you all. Hi, thank you for the introduction. Yes, I'm Heather Mills. I'm 57 years old. I'm known as a problem solver or a one-legged model, depending which tabloid you read. I've been supporting Easter Seals and numerous charities for many, many years since I lost my leg in 1993. Bizarrely, it didn't happen in England. It happened, well, actually, bizarrely, it didn't happen in the former Yugoslavia, where I was working clearing landmines, not a scratch, 4 years. Came back to England, crossed the street, police motorcycle, chopped my leg off, crushed my pelvis, punctured my lung, and split my head open. I was in hospital for 5 months. I was told I would never be the same again. I wouldn't walk, and I wouldn't be attractive to the other partner species, depending who you're with at the moment, and that I would just sit in a wheelchair and not achieve anything. So I did the opposite. I basically collected prosthetic limbs from all around the UK, got the prisoners in the prisons to dismantle them, ship them to former Yugoslavia, and then created the largest landmine clearing charity in the world with the United Nations. Then we saw that prosthetic limbs in the UK were pretty bad and people were not able to be active taxpayers and giving back to the community. So I developed the first running leg, skiing leg, dancing leg, and high heel leg so I could do a backflip on Dancing with the Stars. And then I started to think, well, what is disability and what is ability? Just because a lot of you in here can't do a Guinness World Record with one leg at 166 kilometers an hour, does that make you disabled? So for me, I wanted to talk about inclusivity and basically making people aware that we're not charity cases and that we need to be seen and we have to shout louder and be more humorous than supposed able-bodied people for that to happen. And that started to work. I was patron of the Queen Elizabeth Charity for the Disabled for many years, creating the next level of new buildings for disability access, because until you are disabled, you don't understand how limiting things can be through no fault of your own. So over the last 32 years since I had my accident, a lot of things have progressed with some very like-minded people pushing it forward. But it takes those in power and those with responsibility to actually enable with people with so-called disabilities to achieve their dreams. And that's what's so amazing about Runway of Dreams and all the work that Easter Seals does with the support of Fedcap and numerous others. So when it comes to fashion, when I first lost my leg, the legs were really ugly until I developed the silicone leg. They said, do you want hairs on it and veins? And I was like, are you crazy? Like, that saved me a lot of shaving and also removing varicose veins later. I said, just keep it looking gorgeous. So I developed this limb, and you'll notice that I've got wide pants on. So the taxi driver, for some reason, didn't want to drop me anywhere near here, so he dropped me 4 blocks. And when you walk in humidity for 4 blocks, your leg starts to fall off. So I'm striding down the street, and it's quite a sight when the leg just suddenly falls off. So I pulled over and sat on the bus stop. And the great thing about having these pants is that you can just pop your leg off and then dry it and pop it back on again. So that's what's really important about understanding those things. And I know a lot of you here have looked into what's good for people with disabilities. So going back to the sort of 70s flair was something that I always worked on. And then I wanted to show that just because you've got a disability, I have to carry most of my girlfriends after a night out on a Friday night in their high heels because they can't walk as well as me with 2 legs. And that comes down to keeping the core strength. So again, what's ability and disability when they're staggering like this? And so I wanted to show that you can wear really high heel legs. They don't have to be really ugly bother boots, which I also wear when I want to stride around for a long time. And then things like drain pipe jeans. They're really difficult to wear if you're on an aeroplane because your leg swells up and you need to be able to take it off. So I developed drain pipe jeans that had a Velcro break in the middle, and it was aimed at everybody. And that's what's really important about this fashion, is that it's for everybody. Because if you're, it's raining 1 minute, but it's red hot, you want your legs covered, disabled or not, you can just take the bottoms of your jeans off, and then you can go paddling in the ocean or getting a tan on your legs. And so I think with the future of fashion design and the understanding of knowing that you need to make it commercially viable, you need to make it cool and hip. So for example, we did a wheelchair covered in Swarovski crystals, and then like some R&B guys going, hey, I want those wheels. Or we created really cool outfits in the UK for kids who had arms missing, or bras and all sorts of things from recycled clothing. And then the other kids without the so-called disabilities in the family said, that's not fair, I want those. Why has my trainer not got a zip on it? So I think some clever marketing to push this so that it becomes the cool things to wear is how this is going to grow and become more commercially viable, and then pulling people in with abilities and disabilities wearing it, not segregating one from the other, and showing, that when I want to keep bits in my pants when I'm ski racing, the amount of ski techs that came up and said, I want those pants for all my bits, So I think thinking about that with fashion, for it to be all-inclusive and able and innovative and adaptive for everybody. I know people, that have severe digestive issues and they suddenly lose control of their bowels, and they're just everyday ordinary people that have had a bad Chinese or can't tolerate garlic and onion. There's certain designs that you can do with things like that. So I'm hoping a lot of this is going to be discussed in the panel. I'm going to go to the notes to just summarize, but I wanted to say hi from there rather than behind the podium. So, is this one on? I'll stick to this one. So this convening is about ideas that break barriers and unlock opportunity. Too often people are slotted into limited paths because of bias, boxed in by how programs are designed and by the assumptions society makes about what they can or cannot do. Sorry about my voice, I've been speaking a lot lately. We must think differently. When we broaden access, we also broaden the pool of creativity, entrepreneurship, leadership that drives progress. The strongest solutions are built with, not for. Co-design and lived experience have to be at the centre of everything we create and bring to market. Now, investing in universal and adaptive design fashion and accessible technologies isn't charity, it's actually really good business. The limbs that I've developed over the years, they're multi-million pound industries now. I choose for my money all to go to charity, but the companies that have sold them have made millions and millions and hundreds of millions of pounds. I did the same with the first vegan burger, the first Domino's vegan cheese. It's about problem solving. So it's actually good business. It opens new markets and taps into trillions in consumer power. Data point the disability community, combined with their caregivers and families, has 13 trillion in spending power. Especially now we are internationally worldwide to be able to get direct to consumer. So today is about scale, how technology, creativity and business can come together to accelerate access, open markets and create relevant, sustainable impact. So let's really listen to the experts on the panels for the next few ideas and see what more we can do as a collective. Thank you.